At LaveLab, we've just tested the Roborock Qrevo Slim, and in this video, we'll tell you what we honestly think about it. And FYI, if you're interested in this product, we've included a link to the best price just below this video. This robot vacuum cleaner has a round black plastic design. Its finish is slightly textured, but it still shows fingerprints. Unlike most robot vacuums, it doesn't have a LiDAR tower on top, which makes it very slim. At 8.2 centimeters high, it was able to squeeze everywhere, even under the large pipes in our bathroom. It also navigated well around baseboards and furniture. The robot has a multi-directional wheel and two main wheels for movement. There is a bumper at the front to protect it in case of accidental collisions. It has a 220 milliliter dust tank that can be accessed by lifting the cover, allowing you to retrieve items that have been vacuumed up by mistake, such as an earring. The 72 milliliter water tank is not accessible. This is because the station automatically refills the robot with water. It has a 4-liter clean water tank and a 3-liter dirty water tank, allowing the station to automatically clean the robot's mops. The rotating mops are washed very effectively in hot water at 60 degrees Celsius, then dried with hot air to prevent unpleasant odors. The station detects the level of dirt on the pads, and if necessary, performs a second cleaning. When the robot cleans an area with water, it regularly returns to the station to clean its mops, preventing dirt from being spread around. As for dust, the robot also empties itself automatically into the station, which has a 2.7-liter dust bag. A replacement bag is also included in the box. In addition to its two rotating mops, the Qrevo Slim has a side brush and a double brush roller to pick up dirt. Both the brush and the right-hand mop have an extendable arm. This allows the robot to extend these two elements to clean as close as possible to baseboards and furniture. Instead of a single brush roller, as is often the case, there is a double rubber roller. When the robot cleans with water, the rollers lift up to avoid leaving marks. This is similar to the principle of lifting its mops when it detects a carpet. All of the components are fairly easy to remove and replace. Only the side brush requires a screwdriver if you want to replace it. Unfortunately, we found that a lot of hair and fur got stuck in the brush rollers. However, Roborock has made them easier to remove by allowing you to remove their ends. The rest of the maintenance is fairly simple, as almost everything is taken care of by the station. In addition, automatic cleaning of the station's bin can be activated when necessary. Note that there is no cleaning product or brush included in the box. However, the robot has a repairability score of 8.3 out of 10 because its replacement parts are available for purchase online. So much for design and maintenance. Now let's move on to the features. The Qrevo Slim has 3 buttons accessible directly on its top. One sends it back to its station, another starts or pauses vacuuming, and the last one starts water mopping. By pressing the drop button for 3 seconds, you can also activate the child lock. When we first started up the robot, we were quickly able to connect it to Wi-Fi. Pairing with the app was just as efficient. The Roborock app is quite complex. We found that the different elements and numerous options weren't very well structured. Despite this, it's true that it's one of the most feature-rich apps on the market. Cleaning can be performed in vacuum and mop, vacuum, custom, and smart plan modes. The latter mode gives the robot free rein to manage the designated room as best it can, depending on the dirt detected and the environment. The custom mode allows you to create sequences and plan what type of cleaning you want in which room. In addition, you can choose from 5 suction power levels, 30 water flow levels, the number of passes, 1 or 2, and the route, 2 types in vacuum and 4 types in wash. During cleaning, the robot displays the time elapsed, the number of square meters cleaned, and the remaining battery percentage. At the front of the robot is an LED auxiliary light that turned on when needed. Once mapping is complete, you can select a specific area to clean, perform localized cleaning, set restricted areas, or set up an invisible wall. Rooms can be divided or conversely merged together. Furniture is available to recreate your home as accurately as possible. The floor type can also be changed. The map generated can be viewed in 2D or 3D, and the app can store up to 4 maps in total. In terms of settings, everything is there. Cleaning history, programming, floor configuration, station settings, obstacle avoidance, component maintenance, etc. The camera also allowed us to control the robot remotely, even when we weren't there. It can detect intruders and search for and take pictures of your pet. On the practical side, we were able to set times when we didn't want to be disturbed, activate child safety, adjust the button lights, and set a charging time slot. Of course, remote control, language settings, and volume control are also available. As with the Qrevo Master, the Qrevo Slim has its own voice assistant. So, in addition to being able to use Alexa, Siri, or Google Assistant, you can simply say "Hello Rocky," followed by your command. In practice, we found that it worked very well, even when we were quite far away from the robot, and without raising our voices. All the commands we tried were recognized correctly. Enough theory. Let's move on to the practical side with our performance tests. When we started our tests, we found that the Qrevo Slim was able to map spaces well. It took only 36 seconds to map our 12 square meter room, and it took into account the fact that our wall was slanted. However, the fact that it doesn't have a LiDAR tower caused it a little trouble when mapping an entire floor that included a section with a threshold. In our opinion, a tower gives the robot a better view of its surroundings. In terms of navigation, we noticed that the robot moved methodically when a room was clear, but less so when obstacles were present. During our tests, the robot often retraced its steps or went back to areas it had already vacuumed. To detect obstacles, the Qrevo Slim relies on its LiDAR sensor, dual laser, and front camera. A wall sensor is located on the side, and at the rear, there is a navigation sensor and a communication sensor. Underneath the robot, there's also a carpet sensor and 5 vacuum sensors. Thanks to this, it never fell, either downstairs or from a threshold between 2 rooms. It also detected carpets well and picked up mops correctly. To test obstacle detection, we placed various items in our 12 square meter room. The robot detected and avoided most of them without touching them. It correctly identified a shoe, a cable, and an armchair. The bag, ball, and plant were all detected and avoided, but were not specifically identified. To assess the robot's reliability for pet owners, we placed a fake rubber dog poop on the floor. Fortunately, the robot correctly detected and avoided it. For all these items, it took a photo and marked the location where it had detected an obstacle on the map. By clicking on the obstacle bubble, we were able to see a photo of the item in question. However, we must point out that the robot was sometimes overzealous. For example, it mistook coffee beans for excrement, but it also mistook a tuft of hair for an obstacle. It therefore avoided these items instead of vacuuming them up. We also placed a stuffed rabbit to see if the robot would detect it as an animal. In our opinion, this feature is not quite ready yet, as we did not always get the same results. When vacuuming, it did not detect the stuffed animal as an animal, but when using remote patrol, it identified it correctly. We can therefore say that obstacle recognition is not yet perfected in its current state. We hope that there will be improvements via future software updates. Next, we tested the robot's vacuuming performance. We placed coffee beans, rice grains, salt, hair, and dog hair in a 1 square meter area. Here are the results we obtained on a hard floor using Max Plus mode and a standard pass. With 25 grams of coffee, it vacuumed up 96%, leaving only 4 beans. With 50 grams of rice, it vacuumed up absolutely everything. With 50 grams of salt, it vacuumed up 99%, leaving almost nothing behind. With a few hairs, it sucked up absolutely everything, leaving none behind. And with animal hair, it also sucked up everything, but identified a larger tuft as an obstacle. After that, we proceeded in the same way on a short pile carpet. And with 25 grams of coffee, it only sucked up 75%. With 50 grams of rice, it sucked up 96%. With 50 grams of salt, it sucked up 22%, but unfortunately, a lot of it remained deep in the carpet. And with a few hairs, only a few remained. Overall, we noticed that the robot performed better on hard floors than on carpets. Despite a very high suction power of 11,000 pascals, it was unable to remove fine dust trapped in the carpet fibers. Its obstacle detection system misidentified 2 objects during these specific tests. It avoided coffee beans on the carpet, mistaking them for excrement, and tried to avoid a tuft of hair that it thought was an obstacle. In our opinion, pet owners are therefore unlikely to find this robot suitable. In addition, hair and fur became entangled around the dual brush roll each time. To test its cleaning performance, we made dried mud and coffee stains in the same test area on a hard floor. The robot was set to maximum mode with a high water flow rate. Here are our results. For the dried mud stains, it cleaned everything, scoring 5 out of 5. And with the dried liquid coffee, the same result, 5 out of 5, with all traces removed. The Qrevo Slim revealed its full capabilities when washing with water. It correctly identified the stubborn coffee stains and performed a specific cleaning of this area. After that, it made a double S-shaped pass, vertically and horizontally, to effectively remove all the remaining dirt. Nothing remained, even though this is a really difficult test to pass. Finally, for operating noise, here are the results obtained using our sound level meter positioned 1 meter from the device, with each mode during suction. In silent mode, it emitted 55 decibels. In normal mode, 58. In turbo mode, 61. In max mode, 65. And in max plus mode, 67 decibels. Based on these results, we can say that the Qrevo Slim has an average noise level. It is even rather quiet considering its high power. We also measured that emptying was quieter than average, at 69 decibels. Washing the mops emitted only 41 to 58 decibels, but it lasted more than 3 minutes. Finally, drying the mops is very quiet at only 39 decibels. Finally, let's finish this test by evaluating the battery life. Roborock states that the Qrevo Slim has a 5,200 milliamp hour battery. It is supposed to have a charging time of 4 hours, but no information is provided about its battery life. During our tests, we estimated that charging actually took less time than that. You should be able to recharge the battery to 100% in 3 hours. To calculate its battery life, we noted that it lost 6% of its battery in 13 minutes, while vacuuming an empty 12 square meter room in standard mode. At 100% capacity, this corresponds to approximately 4 hours. When using Max Plus mode, the robot lost twice as much battery power. The battery life therefore dropped to 2 hours in this mode. When there were obstacles, it lost 5% of its battery power in 13 minutes, which corresponds to 4 hours and 20 minutes. Compared to the competition, this battery life is very good. It is more than enough to clean a 200 square meter home. In addition, the robot is able to return to its station to recharge, then resume the task where it left off. And that's it for our test results. So, to sum it all up, the positive points of the Roborock Qrevo Slim are a slim design that easily fits under furniture, very good suction performance on hard floors, effective pad and brush extension for cleaning along baseboards and in corners, excellent water cleaning performance, an app packed with features, very good battery life, maximum ease of maintenance, moderate noise, and the camera that takes pictures of obstacles and animals. As for the negative points, obstacle recognition is imperfect and can affect performance. The lack of a LiDAR tower reduces the robot's ability to navigate its surroundings. Poor suction of fine dust on carpets. Hair and fur accumulate in the brush roller. And a minor detail, but the lack of cleaning product upon delivery. And that concludes our test. Thank you very much for watching. As a reminder, you will find the link to this product with its best price just below the video. And if you like honest vacuum cleaner tests like this one, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel.